My name is Brooke Garu Andrew. I'm the Artistic Director of Liren, which means edge in my Wiradjuri language. It's the 22nd Biennale of Sydney. Liren set out to be First Nations philosophically led and artist led. It was really driven by communities and artists and collectives to represent their own everyday lives and struggles. 2020 has been quite a tumultuous year. Many of the urgent issues that I was looking at for Liren more generally really came together, especially around the Black Lives, Indigenous Lives Matter movement. That was very big here in Melbourne, and it means a lot to grassroots communities. So we decided to have a very solid representation of film mainly, and some sculptural works within ACCA.
I came in like a wrecking ball. Yeah, I just closed my eyes and swung.
Liren was really about doing things differently, breaking down the presentation of work and making it speak to many different people, not to just a very particular art crowd. And that was very important. So here, the kind of casualness and the different kind of size TVs feel like maybe you're at home or you're at a friend's place, and it's not in such a formal representation.
Stand up, stand up, stand up and be counted. Will our children be free?
FTP.
Or are we all convicts to this Australian cycle? Oh, for fuck's sake, woman. I'm trying to read some spoken word here. Show some fucking respect, alright?
Oh, shut the fuck up. Doesn't even rhyme anyway.
The Mexican artist Teresa Margolis came to Sydney, and she went with her collaborators and also volunteers to particular sites where women were murdered. It was looking at the very important and tragic issue of femicide and sponged and kind of cleansed that space. Collie Crew, they're from Coanambri, which is in Western New South Wales. The film is a little bit older now, so the kids are much older now, but it's them just kind of rapping and grooving and talking about their own stories.
Australia Day, we celebrate land waves, claiming Terranali, yes, all over the nation. Disease, Mile Creek, that dislocation.
So to see the kind of excitement in these kids' faces and them really telling their own story is something that's very visible, very exciting, very positive.
Your family taken away to school. No rights, can't go to restaurants or the pool. It's a new track.
The two artists, Ana and Maura from Brazil, they've been following other Indigenous women throughout Brazil and filming their provocations, their protests, their marches. They themselves, within Brazil, have very difficult issues around the representation of Indigenous people in the public sector, but also the kind of racism that also affects Indigenous people there as they do in Australia and internationally. Arthur Jafa's work is a bit of a roller coaster. It's called The White Album, and people get really sucked into it because it does represent the kind of urgency and the kind of dilemmas and the confusion around racism.
Our culture is racist. Our white culture is racist. I ain't saying all white people are racist. I'm not saying that. But it's all that indifference.
So around the complexities of history. He's an artist from the United States, and the democratic movement from the United States of America and its impact internationally is seen as like a leader. People are questioning, well, what is democracy there? Are the rights of African Americans or Indigenous or other peoples really being listened to?
I had best friends who were Hispanic and black people or whatever. I've had best friends.
And I think that the White Album really does break that apart. It makes us sit up, stand up.
Look at you. You mad. You big man.
Nidden was very much a weaving of different subject matters, emotions, ideas, the kind of calamity or kind of cacophony that really engages the richness of all the artists that are represented here from around the world. And it's something that Annika and Max and I talked about and wove together. But amongst all of this, there is humour, there is inspiration, there is real intimacy. And I think it's also important to understand the legacy of what Biennales are. They come from a colonial perspective, they come from the great exhibitions, and the kind of very DNA of this history needs to be challenged, it needs to be broken apart. So in that way, I really feel that this Biennale was something that was done differently. Even though COVID hit, the style of Nidden really grew and I would say flourished.
All you ever did